Good afternoon, traders and investors. Will back here with another one. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you guys had a great day on trading and hope you had a good weekend as well. I really do apologize for not making videos on Thursday and Fridays. I was pretty sick, guys. I wanted to do them, but really wasn't feeling up to par. So made the most of those nights and the weekend to recover, feeling pretty good today. So what's happening in the markets today, guys? We can see SPY and QQQ, most of our major indexes here on the right have been green today. Nice little bounce after several days in a row of red, but SPY in a weekly downtrend now. QQQ not there yet. So today, we're going to take a look at our major indexes, our major tech names. We don't have much news this week either, only pretty much Nike earnings on Wednesday that I'll be keeping a close eye on. And we'll lastly go over my portfolio here, guys. Still a time to be quite defensive in my opinion, as SPY has now lost the weekly, but some good opportunities on the horizon. So guys, without further ado, let's get right into it, yeah? So SPY here on the weekly here, you can see weekly downtrend on SPY is set. After the last few days of trading, you can see last 3 days since the FOMC last Wednesday were pretty brutal. So now daily downtrend is confirmed. What are we looking for here? Looking for the higher low. Anything below 451 is just looking out for a lower high, for potential further continuation. Keep in mind, the weekly downtrend is now set. So bulls have to start all the way from scratch. Let's say we bounce from here. We will have to eventually reset this into a weekly uptrend, guys, and that takes time, 2, 3, 4 weeks potentially, right? So for the bulls, key areas to watch out for here, guys. If you want to see a bounce from here after this little daily bounce has been undergoing today, I need to see the bulls get above 440. If we can get above 440, we create enough space to potentially set up for a daily trend change reversal. I do think that the month of October should be pretty good. Not talking about maybe the first week and a half, but usually the months of October, November, and December are pretty good in terms of seasonality. So without further negative macro elements here, we could see the markets just continue to grind higher. However, we may not be out of the woods yet for the next 2-3 weeks. Very possible that we just trend lower and lower. The key area for me here on SPY is going to be this 420 level where pretty much this leg here started, right? We may have to come back and test this whole 420 area here as support this time because we still haven't done it, right? So that will be my key area if we do keep trending to the downside here on SPY. But for now, bulls looking to get this bounce underway here, trying to change the hourly trend change for the first time in pretty much these last 3 brutal days. Now, QQQ, same thing. However, we never cracked the lows on QQQ, so quite a bit different. You see it better on the futures here, even on the weekly, right? So weekly futures is in a tightening range, right? And the QQQs, same thing. We never cracked our 355 lows here. So QQQ is holding up better than SPY in terms of that. So QQQ is still one of our lead bulls on the year as a whole. But what do we need to see? I need to see a bounce. If we are to start the daily bounce with today's trading into the rest of the week, I need to see a daily bounce come as high as about 370. Okay, 369, 370. That would set us up quite comfortably for a potential daily trend change reversal. But for now, if we can always hit 370, but the expectation is just for your lower high and potentially down to new lows or retest these current lows, right? So those are the bounce scenarios. But for now, the bears are in control, guys. Daily downtrends are set, SPY and QQQ. So we need to be keeping an eye on the weekly. Weekly level for me, QQQ, is 355. And thereafter, if we do come lower, I'm looking at the 335 level for my key line in the sand. I will remind you that on all these charts, the long-term bulls are in control. So we're just looking for longer-term moving average support here as well, right? So keep an eye. That 335 pocket, if we do trend lower, is going to be absolutely crucial. But some decent deals on some tech names are coming, in my opinion, guys. So let's get that buying power ready. Let's wait for stocks to come to us, and then let's snipe. Now, XLF financials, right? Even after these 3 brutal days, putting in a slight green day on the day-to-day of 0.24%. You can see they did start off lower. And now, guys, we almost came below my sweet spot area. Whoops. Almost came below my sweet spot area here, pretty much 34 to 33.50, right? So this is the key area of support. We've now lost the lows here again. So I'll remind you that XLF looking like a double bottom. If we flush them anymore, never closed down below there, right? Even on the daily, never closed below our 33.50 level here. So we're going to keep a very close eye on this, but this level is absolutely crucial, guys. I need to see the bulls put in a bounce here up to the moving averages up to about 34.5 to really set up some space for some daily trend changes. If not, you will be met with potential more downside here, as the bears could possibly roll over XLF into a weekly downtrend as well. Weekly downtrend is not set on XLF, so similar to QQQ, we're just pretty much double bottoming here. If ever they do flush the lows here, guys, you'll be looking out for your 3250 key level thereafter here. And I will be a buyer if ever we come down here in these indexes, 32 levels. I will definitely be writing some options on these levels. So bulls definitely with their work cut out for them. Loss of the daily uptrend here. Now have to start from scratch here in setting the daily uptrend again. But bears in short-term control of the daily, not the weekly yet, but very close. So the next few days in week of trading is absolutely crucial. XLV Healthcare here, having a beautiful day of recovery here, but not making up much ground compared to pretty much our last week of trading, right? So we came all the way down from 133.61 here, and now we're below our area of support as well. So we will be using this area now as resistance. Kind of a shame, and all of the moving averages are resistance as well. So it's going to take some very big moves on XLV's part to recapture that. We are now in a confirmed daily downtrend that is clear as day for me. On the weekly as well, we are in a weekly downtrend as well. No stopping that as of yet here. So the bulls need to start everything from scratch. Key level for me, guys, 128, 129 level. That is absolutely crucial. Why? Because it also represents your monthly higher lows too, right? If you want to get out of this tightening range here, we cannot be flushing these 128 lows right here. Need to keep it tight, and give the bulls as much of a fighting chance as possible. So what do they need to do? Come up as close as possible to 132.50. All right, come as close as possible here, and you could possibly set up for the daily trend change. Any bounce lower is just going to be met with this massive area of resistance for potentially lower levels, and then we'll really be looking for this 128 low. So a lot of work for the bulls to do on SPY, XLF, and XLV, right? So you can see the only component of SPY that is not pretty much in a clear weekly downtrend is QQQ. IWM once again not having the greatest day, even though they did recover into positive territory. That was done in the later part of the day here, but we did drop two lower lows once again. Now all of this gap, 176 gap, has now been filled, so no more gaps pretty much to be filled on IWM. We're now below our area of support, this green little box here, 178 pocket, and below our moving averages here. So all of this is going to be working as resistance. I'll remind you, the bears have cut very deep. So this daily downtrend is well put. Anything below 186 at this point, just going to be for your lower high for potential downtrend continuation here. The bulls need to put in enough of a move to set up for a daily trend change here. If not, the most likely scenario is daily downtrend continuation. Weekly downtrend is clear as day as well. So the bulls have a lot of work here, guys, to put in, right? It's going to take a long time to reverse this. Look how long it took back here to reverse this move, right? So it's going to take a long time on the weekly. Key levels remain now 171, okay? Very crucial area. If we do for some reason continue to trend lower and pull down to this area, guys, I will be writing options. This whole 170 to 165 area is very juicy for me. But as of now, unfortunately, the bulls have to do everything from scratch. So we'll see how it goes. In my opinion, IWM will not do anything without the rest of the market recovering first. Dow Jones names also falling off a cliff the last 3 days of trading since the FOMC, guys. So Dow Jones losing the daily uptrend. Daily downtrend is now confirmed. We also have a confirmed weekly downtrend on the Dow Jones. So a lot of sectors, guys, SPY, XLF, right? XLV, IWM, Dow Jones are all in weekly downtrends. This has to be notable for you. The only one that's not is QQQ. So Dow Jones also going to have to start everything from scratch here. The bulls, anything below 35,000 right now is just going to be for a lower high compared to this high right here, lower high for potential continuation, or they have to stop and then reset the daily uptrend, right? So the daily uptrends are going to be key. The most important time frame for me now is the daily, because we're looking for the bulls to start everything from scratch. As soon as you get your daily uptrend confirmed, then you can potentially say that your weekly low of the swing is in, and then we'll look to see how much of this move they can recapture as a whole, right? But Dow Jones not doing too bad, right? We still have some decent support down here, 33,700 level. And on the monthly, your monthly higher low is all the way down here at 31.5, right? So some decent space for the bulls to play with here. Long-term bulls are still in control. They have the long-term moving averages as well. It's just the daily and the weekly are now in control of the bears. So I need to see the bulls play some defense in this area. They reacted well this morning, but I need to see them defend this 33.7 with their lives, because if that level is lost, guys, it's really going to really damper bulls' ability to make some significant gains here, as we'll be losing a massive 1 month long, 1.5 month long support level that was set back here, right? So I need the bulls to start playing some defense and start bringing these value names alive from the rotation because of negative interest rates now, okay? Not going to go over Bitcoin. It's doing absolutely nothing. So let's jump into big tech right away, guys, okay? Now, Apple playing very good defense at my sweet spot, right? I'll remind you, this green box is there for a reason. It represents your previous all-time high resistance and is now acting as some decent support. Apple has not set the weekly downtrend. It refuses to. 172 is going to be your line in the sand level. So just keep an eye on that, guys. We are now trapped in a tightening range here at the bottom. Some can argue that this is a weekly bear flag for further downside continuation. Well, we'll only know if it's a weekly downtrend, guys, if we flush our 172 area. It's the most important level on Apple on the daily and on the weekly time frame here. As of now, just tightening up. If you want to see the bulls perform well here and start to reverse things, I need to see a crush of 180. If the bulls can get back above 180, it sets them up nicely to reverse the daily uptrend, and then we can be confident in saying that our weekly bounce will be underway, and then we'll be looking how much of this 190 move can we then recapture to potentially reset this, guys. But not looking the best on the weekly time frame here. The best that Apple can do is really tighten up this range here, right? If the bulls want to save it here. But all of that is going to start with really breaking this 180 level to the upside, creating some space for the daily uptrend. But as of now, that's what I'm looking for. If we flush the 172 area, guys, well, we have to look lower, guys. And at that point, I will be looking out for the 165 pocket. If we pull all the way down there, trust me, I will definitely be picking up some Apple, not worried in the slightest. Now, let's go down to AMD. AMD recovering decently intraday, but still stuck at our lows here, right? So last week, I'll remind you, we flushed this whole pocket of mine, right? The 104 all the way down to 99 pretty much, flushed it and are now trading below it. So daily downtrend, okay? Weekly downtrend. Very, very clear weekly downtrends here as well. So AMD, once again, has to start everything from scratch. A few of our tech names, Apple hasn't lost the weekly. A lot of them haven't, but AMD is one that has, okay? So now, if you're an AMD bull, what you need to see is you need the bulls get back above 104, okay? If we can get back above 104, create some decent space to reset the daily uptrend, and only then can we say that our weekly bounce is underway. But now, the bears are in full control, full weekly control, full daily control as well. I do have an option down here at $90 strike. AMD, if we start pulling down 90 all the way down to $80, guys, this is also a very, very sweet spot. So you know I've been playing a lot of AMD in this area. We've now broken through. This area is still a very good price point, but if we get even lower, guys, I will be going even heavier on AMD because the risk to reward becomes even better here. So look to that. But as of now, the bulls, with a lot of work to do here to start reversing, you'll need to see a break of this 104, get as close to it or break as possible to reset some form of daily uptrend here. And I'll remind you, semiconductors as a whole, guys, it's not just AMD. Semiconductors, daily downtrend, and semiconductors also weekly downtrend as a whole, right? So still some space to be working with here. You can see even on the monthly pullback is to be expected on the whole of semiconductors, and AMD won't be immune even if they've been consolidating on this monthly chart here for now 4 months. Amazon breaking below here in one clean shot on Thursday, right? So you can see the gap down and flushed everything at once. So unfortunately now we'll be using this whole 135 area as resistance and also the moving averages as resistance. Loss of the daily uptrend now. Huge downswing on Amazon here. So the bears are in full control on this. It's such a big down move to the downside. Anything below 146 is going to be for a lower high, potentially in the 135 area, for further continuation of the downside. It's just the probabilities, guys. If you want to see the bulls do this, they need to get a high enough bounce that they can reset the daily uptrend to the upside. But for now, bears are in full control. On the weekly, they also flushed your most recent weekly low. So loss of the weekly uptrend. It is not yet a weekly downtrend. Weekly downtrend has to set the lower high on the weekly and then flush, right? So not a weekly downtrend. If you want to see what a weekly downtrend potentially looks like, it's this on Apple. You can see it. It's clear as day, right? Amazon just lost the weekly uptrend, but now they can regain it. they're just going to have to do it in 2 steps, right? So we lost our area here. Our next area of key support is going to be around the $127 range. This whole area of support here is going to be the next one for me, guys. If ever we do continue to trend down here in the lower 120s, I will be very interested in picking some Amazon puts here, short puts. So I want to own the stock in the 120 to 124-ish range, right? That'll be a very good area to pick up some shares for me on Amazon. Unfortunately, the bulls have to start everything from scratch on Amazon here. So not looking the best. Amazon was one of our lead bulls. We're going to take this day by day. Just know that if we do pull back into this lower 120 areas, I will be looking for some shares. Amazon now looking like it does want to kind of consolidate here on the monthly here. So I'll remind you, next area of support all the way down in the lower 120s. It's going to be very hard for the bears to crush this area, in my opinion here. So that is the pullback zone that I'm looking for here, guys. Building the shopping list is key. Google, same thing as Amazon, right? Losing your daily uptrend here, unable to flush the tops here to the upside here. So double top pretty much, and loss here, loss of the daily uptrend. Now, a lot of space has been created by the bears. So anything pretty much below 139 is just going to be for a daily lower high for potential downside continuation into a maybe daily downtrend if the markets do continue dropping here. Key area of support on Google is this yellow line right here. I'll extend it. About 128 range is going to be very, very key for Google. Very good area of support, previous resistance as well. So that's the next area that I would be looking out for personally. On the weekly, guys, Google has still not lost the weekly. The weekly is at this 128. So that is the last line of defense. If you want to save this weekly uptrend here, doing some good defense at the 12 EMA, we'll take this one day at a time. But what I need to see from the bulls here is I need to see the bulls bounce as high as possible here in relation to this 139 area. The higher we bounce, the more likely the probabilities that the bulls can recapture this. But Google and Amazon were some of our lead bulls, and now they've pulled back hard. So let's see how well the bulls are going to play defense in this whole area here. In my opinion, guys, it may not be a 2-3 day thing where we just recapture everything, right? It may be a slight grind like Meta and Microsoft had to do. So we'll take this one day at a time. Google, for me, if we break down below 128, guys, and trend to lower 120s here, that is exactly where I want to be picking up more shares of Google in this whole lower 120 bound range here, because the monthly still has not consolidated a bit. And if we do pull back here, guys, this would look very healthy for a buy on the monthly, in my opinion, okay? Now, Meta, not doing too bad here, up 0.6% on the day, right? Not losing our key support line here. I'll remind you guys, this line is very, very, very crucial. This whole range right here, okay? This whole range right here is your key area of support. So anything between 287 all the way down to 278, $10 range right here. Crucial range for Meta. Meta losing the daily uptrend at this point. The daily downtrend is ever so slight on Meta. Bears not able to take back a lot of it. The bulls are putting up some good defense here, but I'll remind you, the weekly time frame is key for Meta, okay? The worst that can happen is we lose the weekly uptrend and go into a daily downtrend. That would be a flush of 275. But if we can continue to just tighten up here, Meta might be able to just pull it off into the later part of the year, because Q3 and Q4 are known to be the best for advertisers here. So what do I need to see on Meta? If you want the bulls to regain control, need to get above 308. If I can see the bulls regain above 308, it's going to be good. We've already regained the 300 psychological level today. We'll see if they can maintain that, guys. But to clear this pattern up here, I need to see them get back above 308. It gives them enough space to set a new daily uptrend here and potentially also set up nicely for a weekly uptrend reversal. The weekly uptrend reversal break of 313-ish, you would have a new confirmed weekly uptrend. So that's also something to look out for. 2 possibilities, three on Meta, right? Weekly flush. If we flush these lows, we can get the tightening range on the weekly as well. Or if the bulls crack your 314, that's a new weekly uptrend. Weekly uptrend would mean that monthly consolidation is finished and we're due for potentially more upside here on Meta. So good job of doing some good defense here, but we've been stuck in this $300 range here for pretty much over a month at this point. So it remains to see, where's it going to break, guys? Very, very tight here. Where's it going to break? Upside or downside? Microsoft falling off a massive cliff here, right? So we were looking at this pattern of lower highs and lower lows here. Microsoft stepping in here to save these 312 lows. These areas are very, very, very key. So let me erase these lines and we'll take this from the top, okay? So Microsoft losing your daily uptrend as we just flushed our most recent low here. 319 was a level to watch out for. So now the bears are in full control of the daily. Anything below 341 is just going to be a bounce for a lower high and then potentially lower low flush here. The best the bulls can do is create enough space as possible to reset a daily uptrend. On the weekly here, weekly looking like Apple, right? 313 is your weekly low. Crucial area on Microsoft. Lose this, guys. It's a weekly downtrend. Monthly consolidation just continues at that point. It's going to take several weeks to reverse. But as of now, the bulls have played some decent defense here, right? Coming in really clutch at the lows here. So we'll see, can they start taking back some of this move? Or are we just going to set the lower high here, flush, and then go into further weekly consolidation, set the weekly downtrend, and come into my sweet spot? If we make it all the way into my sweet spot here, guys, we're going to get some very, very bullish support. I will be writing some options on Microsoft if we come into the lower 300s and high 280s, 290s. That is my sweet spot on Microsoft. I will be looking to pick up some potential long shares and also writing some put options on Microsoft. So we'll take this one day at a time, guys. Not yet low enough for me to be doing that here. We'll see, how does this bounce play out? If it bounces from here, we're going to see, how does it play out? If it continues trending lower, guys, it just puts all the cards in the bear's favor for that short-term control here. But Microsoft as a whole, guys, on the monthly, still looking very, very healthy. If we pull back in my sweet spot here, very, very easy buy for further continuation into 2024, in my opinion. NVIDIA here, give me a second. So, NVIDIA, daily downtrend confirmed. Once again, the bulls stepping in where it matters the most, right around the 404 level, and now all the way back up to 422. So you'll see this key area, guys. Why is it so key here? Daily downtrend by the bears. So now, what are we looking for here, guys? Looking to save this weekly level here. That's why this level is so important, guys. So weekly uptrend. Now, the bears have come down too much. It's almost like this move, right? Bears have come down too much. Now, if we do move higher, it could set up for the head and shoulders, right? So keep an eye on NVIDIA for that. If you do see the flush of the 400 area here, because this daily downtrend just continues here, well, you'll know that they've lost the weekly uptrend here. And if they lose the weekly uptrend, we will be in monthly consolidation. So dangerous area for NVIDIA currently here. I'm not a buyer up here. I would only be a buyer of NVIDIA if we come all the way back down to around the $310, $320 range. I know it's a long way down for all the NVIDIA bulls out there, but that's just my personal buy zone where I feel comfortable buying the stock. Congratulations, obviously, if you're still holding up here. No one can predict exactly where the market is going to go. We're just looking at short-term technical levels and most likely scenarios based off those levels. So now, just like I can say that, I could say now that NVIDIA bears have taken back a lot here, pushing down, I can say that any bounce here until 460 is just going to be for a lower high for a further leg down. Now, whether this leg down flushes the lows or the bulls can put enough space to recover, the most likely scenario is still a lower high. It's not going to be a V-shape unless we get total market bull takeover here. Most likely scenario is not V-shapes, guys. When the bears control this, they always have to reverse it in 2 steps. That's just how markets function. You can see this all the time, right? Look how they did it here. 2 clear steps of reversal, right? Always the same, right? Look how they did it here. 2 clear steps of reversal. You always get the potential lower high and then potential reversal here, right? So you can see that all the time on NVIDIA. 400, key level to watch out for. We'll see how high can the bulls get on this bounce. The higher they get, the more likely the scenario becomes this. But as of now, weekly bulls holding on by a thread. Really don't want to see them flush this. Now let's get moving on to Tesla. Tesla with some good recovery here intraday. We'll take a look at the daily here. So Tesla came right down to our area of support here. The 240 acting as some good support, even though we flushed it early morning. The bulls were able to drive it back here. So this whole 240 to 230 zone, guys, going to be tough for the bears to flush in one clean shot like they did back here, right? So we're going to keep an eye on that. I do have an option open here for 230s on Tesla for Friday. So we'll see if I get assigned or not here. But flushing my whole area here, Friday was a very, very bad day on Tesla as a whole, closing right near the lows here. So we'll see, guys. Daily downtrend on Tesla is now set. Big daily downtrend, guys. Anything below 274 is going to be for a lower high compared to here, lower high. And then we'll see. Can the bears flush and follow through, or will the bulls create enough space to create a new daily uptrend here, okay? So the daily bears are in control of this downtrend here. That's why I'm going a bit lower on my strikes. So what are we looking for on the weekly here? Just looking for the weekly higher low. The bulls have taken back a lot of that most recent move there. That's why I'm confident enough that the bulls will be able to hold this 212 level, no problem here. Just looking out for the weekly higher low, right? may potentially get into a tightening range here before earnings here, earnings in the middle of October, or the bulls can potentially two-step this and get back above. So we're going to take this one day at a time, guys, but just know that my sweet spot to be buying Tesla is almost here. That's why I'm going to write some options in this level here. But the bulls playing some good defense. We'll just see how can they transform this first day of push back to the upside. How can they transfer it? Will it be a shallow bounce and then further lows? Or will they be able to get all the way back to our 260 level, which sets up nicely for the daily uptrend reversal? Palantir. Now, Palantir, all right, Palantir obviously coming dangerously close to flushing our 1360 level here, guys. We have now a triple bottom here down at the 1360 level. Not looking the best on Palantir, guys. This is pretty much a classic head and shoulders pattern. At this point, if the rest of the market doesn't cooperate, Palantir will most likely flush this level. They do not have company specific news until November, so don't count on that to save you, right? So Palantir, bulls losing all control here, losing the daily uptrend absolutely entirely here. So daily downtrend is set by the bears here. Any bounce below 16 now is just going to be for a lower high, moving averages as resistance for a potential look back to the lows. Whether they flush them or not is going to be up to the bears in terms of their ability to place support here, but not looking the best on Palantir, guys. If we do flush, I'm looking for the 13 to 12 level to be writing some options to pick up more Palantir shares here. But I don't like it, guys. Palantir is very, very, very weak here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just do get the lower high and potentially revisit these lows here. We'll see if the bears can actually flush this time and really create this weekly downtrend. Weekly downtrend is being prevented by this whole 1360 area. So this is a key level on Palantir here. The best case for the bulls, in my opinion, is just to further accumulate here, wait for the market to kind of play out, and then the bulls might get some broad market on the rally. Now, PayPal as well. PayPal once again coming down to our previous lows that we set back here in August after our whole earnings drop was done. So PayPal not performing the best. They have lost the daily uptrend as well, completely losing it as we lost our 60.4 lows here. So now the bears are very well set up to set the daily downtrend here. We're going to see how big is the size of this bounce, but just know one thing for sure. This is my sweet spot in PayPal here. Anything 60 all the way down to pretty much $50 here, guys, is a very good opportunity for me to be buying PayPal here. So looking forward to that. If we do come down to the 55 area range, I will be dollar cost averaging from my current position here with the 65, 66 average cost. We'll be able to bring the cost down a little bit here, but bulls not in the greatest shape, guys. In 6 days of trading, we've pretty much erased like a month worth of trading, right? Very, very, very bad to see PayPal do this. They have to start all the way from scratch. So now the bulls need to put in enough of a move. I'd like to see them come up to 63. Come up to 63, you can set up for the daily uptrend reversal. But as of now, guys, the weekly downtrend is almost set, guys. This is looking like a lot of stocks double bottom. Looks like Apple, right? Double bottom on the weekly. So we'll see if the bulls can hold this 57.40 area, or if they lose it. If they lose it, guys, unfortunately, your weekly downtrend is set for another week down, another leg down on the weekly here. So the bulls need to start everything from scratch and bounce and set the daily uptrend. Until then, I'm taking it one day at a time, but you guys definitely know if we do pull back in this area, I will be adding a bit more shares of PayPal. And now lastly, guys, my portfolio. So we'll see my portfolio here, guys. Took a nice little bath here last week. The portfolio dropped off a little bit here as everything pretty much dropped. CSIQ position, right? The Tesla shares. What else? The PayPal shares dropped off an absolute cliff. My banking shares dropped off a cliff, right? I had to close some of my positions last week at a loss on Thursday after the Fed meeting because the general macro positioning changed. So a couple of them, Tesla, I closed at a slight loss and a reset lower at 230. AMD 97s, I closed at a slight loss because they were below 97 and reset to the 90s. So I readjusted my targets in light of the new information, guys, because I knew that institutions usually take a few days to a few weeks to reposition when, especially the interest rates, right? The decrease in interest rates has potentially been pushed back another 9 to 12 months. So the institutions are starting to price this in and starting to reposition now into more defensive companies for probably the next 3 to 6 months. It doesn't mean that growth won't get any love. It just means that they probably just took some gains off the table for the year so far with how Powell and the Fed members conveyed their need to keep rates higher. And, higher for longer was really set in stone. They'd been saying that for a while, but people didn't believe them. But now they probably believe them with that with the SEP dot plot, right? So we're currently trading about 35% for the year, SPY about 12.5%. So we're still almost up 3x against SPY. And we are still up against the NASDAQ as well, right? But ever so slightly, right? 34. And the NASDAQ down here pretty much at 27.5 today. So still outperforming. But we are down currently from pretty much the Fed meeting, just as a lot of people are, right? And now the positions that we got for this week, guys, I'll let you know. So we have the AstraZeneca puts, 66 short puts here. So if AstraZeneca closed below 66, I will get assigned some shares. I like this level. It's a healthcare stock. Level is at the green line down here. Why do I do that? Well, because this whole area, you can see 66 has been some pretty good support in the past year. So I'm looking for that to play through here. You can see valuation is relatively low. Price to earnings, I mean, it's not extremely high, but it's not extremely low either. 34. They do pay a dividend, you know, very, very healthy revenue, healthy margins as well. Not the most outstanding margins, but you can see AstraZeneca usually has no problem maintaining a very healthy trend here. So 66 puts are on deck here, have 2 contracts at 66. So we'll see, got 27 cents for them. Not quite 0.5%, but I was happy with the risk to reward on that. AMD got the 90s, wrote those on Friday. So we'll see, right? Not quite 0.5% would be 45 cents. We got 42. They're already about pretty much 50% in profit here. So AMD, I'll remind you, we're now back up to 97 cents. So we'll see. AMD 90 is all the way down here. Just as I was telling you guys, if it does come down there, I will be buying. So we'll leave that open for the week. If it comes down lower, I may throw even another contract at it. CSIQ, you guys know that I have 200 shares of CSIQ. Our average cost on that is around $32 here. So we'll see. Can they protect the 25 level? 25.20 remains to be seen. If I do get a sign, guys, my break even will pretty much be down to 29.60. So we'll be lowering it a bit. But this is the current second level of support, guys. Pretty much, you know, like a year's worth of support at this point. So we'll see CSIQ trading pretty much for price to earnings. On the forward basis, it's even lower. They're trading under book. So they're trading, their value right now is under everything that the company owns. So fairly good deal in my opinion. It's just solar right now, not favored because it's completely interest rate dependent. Everybody that gets solar system usually gets them from financing, and obviously financing rates are not too good right now. Enphase, we also got the 114 puts on Enphase. Enphase is another solar company that I like. It's been beaten down very, very much this year. Now trading in my sweet spot. I like this valuation on Enphase. I think that in terms of their growth, it is fairly cheap for the next outlook of 2-3 years. So that's why I do think we'll get some good price support from institutions down here in this level. You can see we're trading at the 121 area. I have the 114s. 114s is pretty much like the bottom of this whole support range here, right? So that's why I targeted them. Fairly decent risk to reward. I got about 55 cents on the 114, so played it a bit conservative. And lastly, we do have we have Tesla as well. Philip Morris, the 91 puts. So got 40 cents on them, not quite 0.5%. So you guys see I'm playing the premiums fairly defensively. So Philip Morris, another one that we're picking up. Philip Morris, all you guys know, right? Tobacco company, right? They pay a very healthy dividend. They have a pretty low price to earnings ratio. They do have some very good revenue and very, very decent profitability as well. You can see that the 91 put is this green line right here. You can see that it's been a decent base of support, except for this little exception here back in last September here. But as a whole, it usually reacts from the $90 level quite well. So I felt comfortable with the most recent drop that we've had of writing some puts in the $91 range. Would not mind being assigned, guys, because this is a fairly defensive stock, you know, in any market condition. So those are in play, guys. We got pretty much, well, now it logged me out, right? So I apologize. All right, guys, apologies for that. And lastly, you see that we do have the Tesla 230s on deck here. So we got pretty much the average price, $1.50 for those. So got well above 0.5% for those. So quite happy. They're down to pretty much 91 cents here. So pretty happy. Tesla, if it closes under 230, we will acquire 100 shares of Tesla. The PayPal covered calls from 66 is expired worthless. And we're still holding, you guys can see, the CSIQ shares. We're holding the PayPal shares here as well. We're currently also holding 200 shares of TMF with a $6.03 average cost. If it keeps dropping, I'll keep adding, guys. Eventually, this 20-year yield will be reversing here. And my banking shares, right, you can see that we're also down. They're down to 1861. My average cost is pretty much 19.9. So a lot of things fell off a cliff last week. But all in all, guys, you know, fairly happy with where the portfolio stands. Have some decent position. Left some buying power open for the rest of the week if ever we do continue dropping here. So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As usual, consider liking the video if you did. I would really appreciate it. I always love your guys' engagement. I once again apologize for Thursday and Friday, guys. I was really feeling quite bad, not gonna lie. Once again, also, If you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you. We love to do stock analysis and, pretty much look at technical analysis, fundamental analysis as well, and see how general markets are playing out here and the macro behind them as well. So also, if you have a comment, guys, feel free to leave a comment down below. Any questions are highly, highly, highly loved here by myself, and I will make a mission to answer them pretty much in the first 24 hours when you send the question. So any analysis or options that you want me to look over here, guys, I would love to do it. So hope you guys had a great day. I will see you tomorrow after the close, back to regular programming. Going to have a video out every single day after the close this week. So take care, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.